Hey Facebook, how are you? This thing. It's me, Onides. It's raining really bad today outside. And I figured, I don't want to go outside, so let me connect with my friends, right? And what better way to connect with you than on Women Crush Wednesday? I also like to call it Work It Wednesday. And I also love it because it's weigh-in Wednesday in my groups. Wednesdays are designed for us to track our progress. So you'll see me share my clients' progress because I'm a proud coach. I've also been on a few phone calls today answering a lot of the questions, and I figured if I'm getting the same type of question, why not go live on my Facebook and inform my friends of all of the things that I've been getting questions on. So I will start by saying that my name is Onides and I am a fitness coach. That means I retired my career of being a teacher. I was a full-time elementary school teacher, and I gave that career up to become a fitness business mentor. And you would think, like, from a teacher to a business person, yeah, but it doesn't feel like a business in a sense because I am fulfilling my purpose and I'm also improving my life. So I'm going to share a little bit about myself, and today I felt like I needed to tell you a few things that have been in my heart, because if I don't share them, then I am not fulfilling God's purpose in my life and in your life. And I can't just be all about me, because the world is already filled with people who are selfish and self-centered. And we need more people who are willing to give of themselves so that we can actually see change in our society. So, over 3 years ago, I decided to make a change for my life. And thank you guys for those of you who are joining and are showering us with hearts. Love you too. So about over 3 years ago, I decided to change my life from the inside out. You know, when you get to a point where you're sick and tired of just being tired, I was exhausted. I was always like tired, and all I wanted to do was sleep. And all I wanted to do was just lay in bed or lay on the sofa. And I needed to seriously like check myself and figure out what I was doing wrong. And to give you a background story about myself, I'm a born-again Christian. I was born Catholic, and I learned about God, and I've always been a faithful person, but I gave my life to Christ over now 15 years. And when I came into God's ways, I realized that I had given him my life, right? I had said in front of an audience that I was giving myself to him, and that I was recognizing that I was a sinner, and that I was recognizing that many things were wrong with me, and I was giving up myself to him. But here's the thing, and not that it came to me right away, but through time, I've learned that I gave my life to him in words, but in actions, I still had a lot of things reserved for myself, because there are, like, you know how you clean a full house and you can clean every little nook and corner, the kitchen, you clean it out, the living room, you clean it out, the dining room, the bathroom. And then when you get to your room, you clean the room, but there's a drawer or there's a closet that you look at it and you're like, ¿por dónde le entro? Like, there's so much mess. It's such in this shambles that it's just a catastrophe to you, for you to even think about, targeting that closet or targeting the drawers. So you put it to the side, and you don't go in it, but you also don't allow anyone to come in and see that mess, because it's not a pretty mess. It's like a disorganized, horrible, hot mess. So I felt the same way about my life. I felt as though I had given my life to God, and to Jesus, and I have said to him, I want you to come in my life, and I want you to, take it over, and Jesus, take the wheel, right? But there were places in my life where I did not allow him to come in because it was kind of ugly. And I'm just going to name a few of the places that I wanted to keep control of. And I'm a recovering control freak. And that means that if you can't really surprise me, because I like to know from point A to point B to point C. And if something's going to go wrong, well, I have to have a plan B to follow that up, right? And I lived my life in fear. Although I was Christian, I lived life in fear of what will other people think of me, in fear of what if I live my whole life and I turn out to be a true failure? What if I fail my parents? They've given me everything. They've taught me to be a great person, a great woman, a great wife, a great mom. What if I fail? What if I fail? I went to school to become a professional, educator, and I'm not doing my job. Like, I feel like the system is set up to make me fail. I'm a failure. I'm afraid. I'm stuck. And I just kept myself in that little competition against myself. And then that competition and that fear and that control attitude and behaviors now turned me into a worry wart. And, I don't know if you've ever read, it's a children's book, and Wimberly Worries. And that book is like one of my favorite books by Kevin Henkes, because she worries about everything. I mean, there's a crack on the wall, and what if the wall falls down on you? And, there's a tree outside of the house. What if the rain comes and makes the tree fall on top of the house? Oh my God, you think of it, that was me. The smallest little problem, I would make a huge mess about it in my head. Because it wasn't even real. It was only in my head. I became a worrier. So this worry made me stress. This worry made me an emotional basket case. And then when I worried, I became depressed. Because now I'm thinking, oh my God, my kids are going to turn out like this. My husband's going to do this. My mom is going to think that. Oh my God, my finances. Oh my God. And I spent my life worrying, worried. And then I took on emotional eating because I couldn't control it, so might as well numb it, right? I can't avoid it, so might as well mask it. I can't control it, so might as well shut it down. And the way I shut it down was with food. The way I shut it down was becoming an expert at baking. I can bake from scratch the best carrot cake you can ever taste. Not because I know how to do it, but because my family has told me. I can bake banana breads. I will bake Dominican cakes. You'll give me a recipe and I'll turn it into a masterpiece, because I put all of my efforts into that to avoid going into the closet, to avoid going into the little drawers that were such a huge mess that I didn't want to tackle, because it was a basket case. So I then realized, you know what? Of course, I am Christian. I've given my life to Christ. But el pobre, he's watching me and he's like, if only you allowed me to come into your life and help you control, your life would be so much easier. But no, Miss Control Freak wanted to have it all under control, or so she thought. So I did what I could. If I noticed that I was being overweight, then, I can't be an overweight person. So I would go onto these crash diets because I was an expert. I had read all these books. I had all the Jillian Michaels stuff. I had Tybo at home. I had Turbo Jam. I had a library of amazing workout programs that were just collecting dust. And I would try it for 2 weeks. Sometimes I would even go for a month. And I would see results. But then I gave up because it was too hard. And who wants hard? Really? It's easier to just give up. But then life happens. And you realize that if you continue on that same path, you're not going to be led into anywhere positive. So you have to there comes a point, not that you have to, but there comes a point in your life where you have to make a decision. Either you're going to live your life as a complete hypocrite and say that, yes, you've given your life to Christ, or are you going to literally like give up your control and let him come in and take over and organize your life from the beginning to the end, you know? You're welcome, Rosa. There's a reason why we are partners. Your vibe attracts your tribe. And, you know, I had an attitude about myself where God was my guide when it came to spiritual things. God was my guide when it came to my children, where it came to, you know, giving me word to like guide me in life. But it's not his responsibility to come and teach me how to eat or how to be, you know, take care of myself. It's not his responsibility. It's not his responsibility to come and teach me how to deal with my finances. It's not his responsibility to teach me how to deal with my husband or with my kids. That's me. That's what I thought. But I had to go through certain circumstances in life where everything is just turned upside down and inside out, and whatever you thought was a floor is now vacant. There's nothing under your feet, and you're basically standing on air, and you don't know what will happen not even 8 hours from now, because your life is completely out of it. And whoever you thought you were in control is like laughing back at you, being like, Youre, what are you gonna do? You have nothing to do because you have nothing to control. Everything is up the wazoo. So instead of taking over and being like, I give up, I'm going to hide from life. I'm going to make believe that this isn't happening. You turn around and you're like, all right, I get it. My ways aren't working anymore. I understand that I'm filled with fear, and I'm filled with worry, and it's because of lack of trust. And I was very trusting in people, but I was lacking trust in God, that he was going to guide me towards the right path, and that he was going to teach me the right way. So I had to let go of me and let him be. That's hard. And I had to let go of what I thought was intelligent. I had to let go of planning my life and just do and just be. I had 50 pounds overweight, but that seemed like that closet, like a huge mess. How was I going to tackle that? That was intense. That was too much. I'd rather just forget about it. But I had to take it in by pieces. So my emotional eating piece, that was basically a lack of putting to use the gifts of the Spirit that I so-called thought I had. Because self-control is something that people over-abuse of. They skip that part in the Bible. They skip that part when the pastor or the priest talks about using self-control. Like, if you speak words and you just let them out of your mouth because that's just, you know, you speaking your mind, you have no self-control. If you go to a birthday party and all they have is pizza, and you put 2 slices of pizza, and then you're like, we're here, I might as well eat, right? And you add the 3rd slice of pizza, you have no self-control. If you go shopping and you know your bank account does not have enough money for you to swipe that card, and you go ahead and you swipe that card, you have no self-control. But yet you call yourself a Christian person, yet you call yourself someone who has God in their lives and someone who's living a healthy and fulfilled life. BS. You're faking it. And the only person you are fooling is yourself. Because come to end, the one who's watching you, your creator, is standing back being like, ¿Cuándo será que me va a dejar entrar a organizarle? When is it that she's going to let me come in and help her organize? When is it that she's going to give up her own control and let me come in and do what I need to do? And sometimes it takes a generation to sit there and watch and sit there and see the whole craziness that's going to happen before somebody in the family realizes that you've been doing something wrong. And I know this because the land of Israel, they were promised to go and enter into the promised land. But because they were headstrong and stubborn, and they were not willing to submit themselves to their leader and actually follow the rules and follow the guidelines, they spent their time they spent 40 years going around the same damn mountain when the entrance was right there. Would they have listened before, they would have just entered. But poor people who started off in the journey, most of them didn't make it. The second generation made it. So I believe that I am the generation that will help my generation overcome. I want to be the one who shares the light with my kids and help them open their hearts and open their lives and open all of the closets and all of the drawers in their house, so that God comes and controls them and cleans up the huge mess that they've themselves created. Because we create our own mess, and then we get comfortable in our mess, and then we don't want anybody to come in and change it, because it's embarrassing to understand that we've let ourselves go this far. But guess what? There is still time, but you have to be willing to wake up. You have to be willing to put your stubborn self in check and say, I'm done, and I'm ready to just do and whatever it takes, so that I enter my purpose, so that I go into what God has destined for me. See, because if I believe that God is living in my heart, then I can't live in fear. I can't live in worry, because his word states that true love will cast away all fears. True love. And that's his love. That's no man's love. Don't you put your eyes on people from this earth, because they will fail you. They will fail you. They will betray you. They will speak things about you that you wouldn't even imagine that would come out of someone's mouth. But God will not do that against you. He will lead you to people who will lend their hand and help you. But you have to be open to receive that. You can't just be there, the angels haven't come down yet, so I'm just going to keep in control. Let it go. And as Kathy says, let it go and let God be. Because a lot of us have such a huge ego that we are not willing to accept our own weaknesses. And we're going to stay in that weakness circle until we die. Because nobody's going to come and help you out of your own weakness unless you make that decision. Point blank. Here's the thing. What I did was, I needed to basically go through my life, my journey, without thinking about it. Like, if you think of someone who overthinks and plans things out, that's no longer who I am. Because my plans don't work. Honestly, I can plan out, I can schedule my life, which I used to, but no longer. That doesn't work for my right now. I have to go pick up the kids soon. That doesn't work for me anymore. I have to sincerely rely on God, because he hasn't failed me. I failed myself, but he hasn't failed me. So put my trust in him. And he has taught me to release fear. And those of you who know me know that I was petrified of dogs. And some of you may even laugh. But since I was a little girl, I could not see or be near a dog. As a matter of fact, my parents come from San Jose de las Matas, and we had animals all around us. And whenever I visited my grandparents' house, you would see me walking on the counters on top of tables, because I was afraid of chickens, I was afraid of horses, I was afraid of dogs. If I was gonna ride a horse down to my grandparents' home, I would ride it facing the person who was riding the horse, because I couldn't bear look at the horse's face. It petrified me. I don't know why. I was afraid of animals. There's still things that I'm working on, because I know God creates that. So I have to be open to loving nature and loving that. I'm not the type of person that would enjoy the grass because of all the little creepy crawlers that are in there. When I was a teacher in kindergarten, thanks to Missy, who was my assistant, she had this incubator, and we had a project with the life cycle, and we had chicks, and they hatched, And for the first time, I was about 30 something years old, I touched a baby chick. And those were like huge milestones for me, because little by little, I started to let go of all of the fears that started, like, that were binding me, that were keeping me down. So little by little, as love started to be the one who guided my life, worry started to take off. And like every time that I try to think and try to get worried about anything, I say, I deposit blank into your life. It's in your hands, God. You're the one who's going to resolve it. Either you teach me how I'm going to solve it, or you send someone who's going to fix it, or you show me until when I'm going to wait on you so that this problem gets solved. But I'm no longer in control. I can't. All I know that I'm in control of is my daily actions, and I'm not staying still. I'm doing things that are moving me closer and forward in life. So I've made a decision to change my health and to change my fitness. And I committed to following a fitness program from home. And you're like, and that has to do with God, how? Because until I was not willing to work on improving, sorry, I'm back. I don't know if you saw the call. I don't know how that works. Anyways, so deciding to work on my health and my fitness was one step I was making to actually abide by God's law, which is to take care of his temple, which is my body, and where he abides. Because if I'm not well in my spirit, I'm going to reflect it in my body. So if my emotions are not in check, if I am completely feared and worried and depressed all of my life, I won't be able to love the people who surround me. I won't be able to even love myself. So when I accept his love to enter my life, now I'm open to change. And sometimes it's going to come through pain, and it's done through pain. I'm not going to lie, it's going to come through pain. And with pain comes change. And with change comes growth. And with growth comes more love and more support. So I did that. I also followed, I used to think that crash diets were going to work. That overeating and then drinking a pill to make me go to the bathroom was going to solve my problems. Or gaining 10 pounds over a month's period and then following the cabbage soup diet and eliminating those 10 pounds by like electric, I was going to lose that weight. Or if I thought, I followed the Atkins diet where you eat all you eat is meat and certain carbs. I also followed another one that used to say you have to eat fruit one day and then you have to eat vegetables another day and then the following day you have to do whatever. I followed, you told me, and I did it because it worked. Temporarily, it worked. But that's not something you can sustain for life. And whenever I stopped doing that, I would gain it right back. And then I would go back to point B. So I was being stubborn, like those people who stayed around in circles and circles and circles. And a lot of time I spent, I think it was almost like 10, 12 years battling with being overweight. But it was because I wasn't deciding on making any change. I wasn't sticking to any plan. I wasn't following any guideline because I know more than anything else. And here's the thing, I speak to so many people on a daily basis and they have a program. Guys, they even, like, our programs come with a fitness guide, they come with a workout calendar, they come with a nutrition guide, they come with these cute little things that are called containers, and they have their proportions so that you know exactly what you need to eat at whatever time you're supposed to eat it and how you break up your day. But people are smarter than the programs, and people are smarter than the people who develop these things. And they say, no, it says that I should have 3 carbs a day. I'm just not going to have carbs because carbs are bad for you. You're not following the guidelines, and therefore you're not seeing results. Oh, but the workout, the trainer says to use weights. Weights hurt me. If I lift weights and I'm fat, I'm just going to be bulky and muscles. You're not following the guidelines. There were people who went to school and are experts, and they are the ones who designed these programs. I'm not the one who's telling you, like, they went to school. I put all the responsibilities on them. And They say that that muscle burns fat. I was 189 pounds when I was lifting weights. And I don't think I look like a muscle builder. I've burned fat. And I've burned fat because I started with a stretchy band and I went up to 5 pounds, and then I went up to 10 pounds, and then I went up to 12 pounds. And today I can lift up to 25 pounds in my arms, with my arms. The girl who couldn't even hold a gallon of milk is doing that today. But that's because I put my stubborn self in check. And I no longer do what I think is right. I follow the experts. I follow my God, who is my spiritual guide, who's my expert in everything about life. And I follow my fitness guide, who are the people who have taught me how to find the solution for life. See these little containers? They have like the colors of the rainbow. And you know why? Because if you're only eating proteins and vegetables, you're missing out on healthy fats, you're missing out on carbs, you're missing out on everything else, and even sugars. And sugars should come from fruits. You're missing out on life. And you're thinking you're doing what's right. You're spending probably 3 to 3 hours in the gym. You're running yourself on the treadmill and you have no results because you're not following guidelines. You're stubborn and you're following your own intuition. And your intuition has not taken you far. And if it has, congrats, and keep it going, because a lot of us have a good intuition. I personally follow God's intuition in my life. So that's what I needed to do. I needed to learn to follow the guidelines that the experts have designed. Here's another one. Uniris, this meal plan you sent me sounds amazing, but the only thing is, I only eat 2 meals a day. I can't eat that much food. You know why? You're being stubborn. Because I bet you, if you were having pizza, you would have 2 to 3 slices in one sitting. But because you have to break it up into maybe 4 meals, sometimes even 6 meals, now that's too much for you. You're not following the guidelines, so you're not seeing the results you need. You need to stop being stubborn, and you need to eat your meals, especially your breakfast. And if you're not having breakfast, guys, you're doing your body a disservice. You're starving yourselves. And your body and your spirit need to be nurtured with food that fuels it and gives it energy. If you're not, my nails, I need to go do them. I'm going to do my mani today. You need to do that. All right? So I did have to submit myself and my stubborn control freak personality and put it under his control. And when I did that, I started to see change. And then you know something else that I did was I started to share it with other people. You know why? Because I got pissed off. I got pissed off because I was looking for help. And I would ask people for help and they would give me the runarounds, because not a lot of people want you to be successful. Not a lot of people want to look at your life and say congratulations for your success. A lot of people want to see you fail. A lot of people want to see you in the struggle. And I went through that. When I was my heaviest, I reached out to a few people asking them that I looked at them and they looked like they were healthy and fit. And they were moms just like me. I would ask them, what are you doing? And they would say to me like, yo no como arroz. Do you go to the gym? Do you follow any workout program? I do. I walk in the park. Cuando está bonito afuera, I walk. And I'm like, wow. After I started doing this, I'm like, how can you walk on a track, like maybe 3 times a week or whenever it's sunny, and be healthy and fit? Liar. You know why? Because you want it for yourself. You want to look good for you so that people look at you and be like, ay, mira que bien se ve fulana. But you don't know what I know, so jódete. And that's not my intention. I believe that we are here to serve others. And you know how rewarding it is? Maybe because I'm a giver, maybe because I have been, I guess, trained to teach others, maybe because I have allowed God to lead me with love, and love leads to giving other people and supporting others and lending a hand of help and putting yourself in service. Maybe that's why I feel, and I don't understand people who hold things to themselves. But when I've been able to give back and I see other people accomplishing more than what I have been able to accomplish, I'm the first one to applaud, because I know how good it feels to accomplish a small little milestone. And that's why I do this, because I don't want you to think that overcoming fear, overcoming worry, overcoming emotional eating is an easy thing to do. But if you put yourself in a place where you're open to give, but you're open to receive, you're going to notice a huge change. And that's what I've done. I basically opened my heart and I put myself on blast. And by putting myself on blast, now I was holding myself to my word, and I can't fail. I can't fail God, because I would put his name in shame, and I would not do that. So I lean towards helping people. And this has become my career. This has become my business. Now, this is what I do for a living. But it's a win-win situation. You know why? Because now I have a community of positive, supportive people who understand my pain. And whenever I need help or support, I reach out to them. And I'm automatically uplifted, because they're not talking behind my back. They're not stabbing me in my back or wishing that I failed or waiting for me to fail. And that's why I feel empowered to empower other women. And I can tell you from the bottom of my heart that if I wasn't doing this publicly, if I wasn't doing this as my business, as my career, I would probably be back where I used to be, in my old self-loathing, depressive state. But because I decided to make a change and help other people change their lives, I won't fail them and I won't fail myself. As simple as that. And I know that there are many of you who are watching this video who need someone to hold you to your word, because you too are sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I'm here to tell you that I can help you. If you feel that I can, then reach out to me and let me help you. If you have connected with a different coach on our teams or wherever you want to connect to, go ahead and do something. But stop being stubborn. Stop living in a circle and going around it over and over again, because you're not going to end anywhere fruitful. And it's not going to change. I'm not going to tell you that all my closets are cleared up and that all my drawers are in order, because I'm a work in progress. And I'm happy to tell you that I am a work in progress, because the only one who is perfect is my Creator. And that's why he's my expert. The only person that knows that they can't fail is him. And that's it. I will reach out to you, Josefina, and we will talk. And if you are interested, we're having amazing results in our group, Shaped by Grace. We will soon start with our next group. And my sister and I have decided to call it Empowered to Empower Others. It starts June 20th, so you still have time to join us. So don't wait and message us. All right? Love you guys, and I'll be back. Gotta go get the